The first music video shot on IMAX. Is it a big deal? In this cinematography breakdown of Drake's new song Nokia, I will tell you everything about it, and after watching this video you should be able to shoot something like this. First, let me start. What is an IMAX camera? It's the most rare, the most expensive and the most best camera you can use in the film industry. The IMAX camera shots on a huge 70mm film. And this camera, I will tell you, is really loud while doing it. Because film is not pixel, but the detail you get out of it is like 18K resolution. The digital camera that comes close to that from the size is a Alexa 65, which has a 65mm sensor, but only at 6K resolution. The most amazing films were shot on it: Oppenheimer, Interstellar, some scenes, Dune, Transformers. But it's not the best because it's really unhandy. It weighs around 100 pounds or 45 kilograms. So it's a very special kind of camera. In most big cities you can find an IMAX cinema. And when you watch the movie in IMAX, you probably notice the aspect ratio is different. You don't have your typically 16:9. It's around 1.43:1, which is more vertical than horizontal. Shooting on this camera as a rapper is like having the newest, rarest Bugatti, because hell, it's expensive. Not only to rent, but to convert the film into something digital that you can edit with, really expensive and takes really long. The first thing we noticed is the aspect ratio. As I said before, this fills perfectly the screen of my iPad. In the whole music video, the shots are actually really simple and also in black and white. You can shoot natively on film in black and white or choose a color film roll. I don't know if they shot on color and converted to black and white or made it black and white in the first place. Especially when you're shooting in black and white, you have a few things you have to consider. Everything has to make some texture, form and contrast. The floor is reflective. This gives a little bit more depth and also more contrast, because we have no colors to work with that separates our subject from the background. That's the reason you have to think a bit more about your lighting, because every mistake you make will show in the footage. Here, the only thing they probably use it, as you can see, we have really hard shadows. We have a really big open source, probably without any diffusion at all, maybe a little bit 4x4 first frame is in front of it, but it shoots straight into the scene. And while we are using this hard light, you create another shadow here, which creates another layer of contrast. As I told you before, in black and white, contrast and layers are everything. We have first level, bright, dark, bright, bright, dark, bright, dark, dark, bright. And on the bottom we have something similar. Dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright. And that's how you think in contrast and also when you shoot in colors. Always look for layers that will improve your footage. This is the next shot we're talking about. And as you can see, also lighting is very simple. We have one big hot source that blasts around the whole scene. And another thing you will notice is, look at that specular highlights. The costume designer checked, okay, this footage is black and white, it's very simple. And that's because we put a lot of reflective materials in there. Because if there wasn't the spectacular highlights, the whole scene would only look like this person over the whole screen and would be boring. And also to add a bit of atmosphere, you can see we have haze. And with this haze, we get a gradient. As from the back of the shot to this side, you have light gray, middle gray, dark gray, black. What they probably also did here is a big top light. Over the whole scene is a big butterfly where light's coming through. With that you can control the contrast. As you can see, he's not purely black on the side. If you're only blasting from one side, there would be no light on this side. The haze does lift up the shadows a bit, but what they also could do is put a bounce on the other side that reflects the light back onto the scene. So really simple lighting setup, top light, strong side light, haze, and a little bit of bounce to fill in the shadows. This is also an interesting shot. They try to make it, I think, a little bit more artsy. because with the whole thing of shooting of IMAX, it gives a vibe, so you try to make something look more abstract but simple, artsy. This is an easy shot to make. You first shoot this scene. This is a real prop in front of black background or blue screen. Then you key it out, scale it up, do the same thing with Drake, and now we have this big size difference. So it's a really effective shot, but it only works because we have this deep black background that gives us this surreal abstract feeling. After contrast, the next big thing for filmmakers is patterns. As you can see, what makes this shot look cool, it's that repetitive pattern across the whole image. When you're doing a top shot, don't just light from the top. To get a little bit more contrast, you try to light it from the side. They don't really have to do so much from the side because they knew, okay, we shoot in a black and white video, we're making the floor white, and our actors are all wearing all black, but with a reflective surface. So with just the set design, without some complicated lighting setup, get a lot of texture and a lot of contrast. This lighting style is an easy one to do, but it's also done a little bit different. When you're using this spotlight effect, normally you will shoot on the person, will also create a drop shadow behind them, but that's not how they done it here. What they actually did, and what I prefer to do also, is you use the spotlight and shoot it exactly behind them. This light you see here is not touching them. They were lit from a different source. Maybe you could use, when you think a little bit smaller, with an aperture or with a light dome, just to give them a little bit of texture in the face. You can see the light isn't even that soft. It was probably also a very spotty source because, as we can see, we have the drop shadow here, but that light that's doing this, which comes from this direction, is not the same as the one in the back, which creates layers. As you can see, they're all black, one layer. The floor is a layer which is white, and the background is even brighter. So we get, with these two lights, another layer in a black and white video. What they also probably did is, always on the studio scenarios, we have a big top light that controls the contrast. This shot stood out to me in the whole music video because it was out of the order. We had that whole simple look, and now we have this weird space car and the space shuttle here. We have flexing highlights in the background. So it was out of the norm, but a really cool addition. And also here, like I said before, the lighting in this video is not very difficult. We have probably a butterfly shooting on him with a not too soft. Everything's really hard when you shoot black and white. Try to shoot not that soft. It will create more depth. And an easy big backlight that silhouettes the whole scene, silhouetting, and the rim light is really essential for this black and white videos. But as I told you before, it's in the set design. This time Drake is wearing a white outfit, which gives him a layer. This thing is black. Then we have these highlights in the back where the people are flexing some metal, giving bright highlights. And then we have this big black tire, and done our practice here in the back. It's really simple. It's just a sandwich light. Don't forget your practicals, and always remember, I tell it people very often, outfits are really important. Talk to the artist. Don't just let him drip out. Think about explaining the scene and why some colors and some fits would be better for the scene. Now we have the question, was it a big deal to shoot on IMAX? Yes and no. I'm always happy when people try new things, but at the end, if you shoot this one on Red, Alexa, Sony or Canon, it would probably look the same. So my name is Marco Bagnoli. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.